Hey everyone, and this is Andrew, and welcome back to another Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We, when we went last off, we uncovered the truth behind the John Garradep's having her wife as a maid, and his house is on fire. And this time, that Naruhodo decided to take the case. Poor John Garradep in his the my aching trousers and penis. Joanne, please don't do that again. I'm gonna love voicing this guy. But anyways, without further ado, we're gonna start off with the trial. Let's resume the case. February 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey defendant at antechamber. Well, I never expected this. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? We're on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the grid to his legal practices. In order to research his latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his, her, and one only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. Morning. Is it Soseki? Good morning. Oh, yes, it's him. Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The labor catches the worm. I see. They say here in Britain. Yes, I heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried to stay away. Come on! I was so worried I couldn't catch a worm. And now I'm absolutely exhausted at the result. Do all the little people taking things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in that floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I kinda gave up on him calling me local, so why not? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looks like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I have no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Neither did I. Maybe it's something to do with Vanzix, I think. Do you know why might that be, Mr. Soto? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence, then, is it? Don't hide from the truth, man! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Ah, yeah. London Zix. Is that right, Mr. Soto? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning. Yes. Lord Wenzel is on the front page of everyone. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Dr. Grayson told us something similar today. The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Vanzig's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance has made even greater waves here in the capital than today. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question of the paper asks, and they are all speculating various answers. Monday! 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 It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us. Oh dear, I mean, no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, at least we forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Naohiro Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. What times it is you who stand against this legendary prosecutor? It can only mean that you are friends with the victim! Please! I don't rub the shoulders with dead bringers! And then suddenly Van Zix was speaking to the woman. No. You piece of shit. I'm afraid that there's really one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naohiro was of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that, jeez. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such a frail fortune? My least lucky loyal alive. Lol. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it is true that I'm just a student new to London with little in the way of experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naohiro Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. I am your stepfather! I'm sure I'll never forget this. Quick, wait. Hey, I haven't finished my line yet. I am your debt forever. I shall never forget this great kindness as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Alright then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yeah. Yes! Also, I think you need to cut down on the sugar. But there's nothing inside the cell. I was... Oh, please don't tell me you've been snipped. What? Never mind, nothing. This guy is way too much hype, as if he's been taking too much sugar. So I'm not gonna scratch that. Well, so this is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom, and my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me because of not, because this time I won't let my faith waver. I believe in my client until the last. Just like you believe in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Alrighty then. 20th February 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Alright, we start thinking like, oh come on! Did I see the maid there? No, not the maid, sorry. Did I see Joy and Garrett up there? I've been calling the courtroom. Okay. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this courtroom in session. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponists are truly fascinating. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart had told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have the point? Being a patron, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Sister-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Time to take a drink. Thank you, baby, for bringing my bottle. Very true, and the most fascinating dark trial it was. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquainted and his unfortunate violent ends. Screw him for forging evidence like that. A toast. Oh, I forgot you're not legally there for the drink. Hey! If I may, thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? Oh, God! What the hell is Bruce Fairplay doing there? I mean, isn't he supposed to be the damn witness? What? Okay, this is... What? What kind of nutty jerk are we seeing here today? No, seriously, how? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in that way by everyone. Well, I must warn you, I was rather more ruthless than I appeared. Oh well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace living fellow. Yes. Oh, come on, Joanne. What are you doing? I'm afraid to say, I think it's quite possible that Mustache Man Foreigner did the deed. Guilty. Come on, what are we waiting for? Don't you did it anyway. Sorry, didn't quite get done. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, one resist. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in flights. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused for the more sinister act. Of planting a knife in the back of the innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. Oh shit, I should have destroyed it. Oh well. A knife crime, I tell you what, forbidden spaces towards are the worst bloody oh dear. Just look at this. Sunlight's perfection in this shot set. He's the one who's dreadful Japanese. Wow, Ace is much. Come on, let's get this over with me now. Everyone, 1, 2, 3. Me? Oh, sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hello chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to San. Very well. Further, lead the inspector in, please. Oh, it must be Grayson, then it's... Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Grayson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the event of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Oliver Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be? Yes, having to be stabbed in the back by her attacker knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago, and she's been traumatized ever since. What? What? Still, they don't even know who she is for sure? Commodus. To Commodus, I see my life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge would not be murder. Great elaborate on the details, Inspector. So, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago. As around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare of a horse-drawn vehicle. It has not long since it stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared and she currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take the statement from her, of course. This is a case file where everyone will know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence if you please. The case files have been mentioned in the court record. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we got the books here, and we got case files of incident report. Detail: young woman rendered unconscious following a stab wound on the back. Oliver Green, female, stout build, early 20s. Pavement of Briar Road, East Side. Reporting officer Roy Beat. No, not Roy Beat. Rolly Beat. The victim remains unconscious. Her name was gleaned from personal effects. Other details are unknown. Apart from the single stab wounds from the large knife, no other sign of injury were observed. The sailor was seen running away by the reporting officer, was successfully arrested following it. Okay. One of the weapons that it has used. Sir, I am here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the streets now. With a heavy blade like that, it's almost like anyone were able to stab a poor woman. Even a scraggy-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. A common gun and jackknife, I would say, rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. The jackknife has been entered into the court records. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? Oh, okay. Let's see the jackknife. Well, why is it missing blade? Oh, look here, Mr. Naoto. Just at the tip. A small piece of blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mr. Soto-san. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think it could have been still lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear. I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. But I'm surprised there's no blood in it. I mean, I look at it, it's like there's no blood or anything. But that's a good thing, otherwise it'll be charged for worse scenario if it's deep. From what I can tell by the looking at the woman's possession, it seems she's supposed to do it herself. Hard to imagine she would have been anything much worth pinching, my lord. Oh, I see. In that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from the visiting second-hand bookshop, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. Yes! Yes to what? Come on! Now, I think you should just say, hey, hold it from now on. If you keep saying yes all the time, you're probably going to get Natsume. You're going to get your defendant guilty for no reason. If theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Master Natsume could possibly have for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrest the man in spite of that totally unjustified and heavily-handed way.
Objection!
Fancies! How much is that bottle? What the hell? Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the freshly uncorked bottle in the public area. I hope nobody's hurt. Nobody? Nobody? Good. But your words have sought this hollow bouquet. For it's you, my lecture friend, who is being heavily handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people with good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Grayson, the prosecution calls you for your former testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constability came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. Mr. Natsume is arrested. As I say, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was usually unusually large floor. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and his accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed from the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those belongings were a number of books that he just bought. He was on the way home from the bookshop, he says. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Oh, books, you say? Yes, my lord, I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes, I can see the books, Lily, which you are referring. Sorry, lady. Okay. I will take the photograph print as evidence, please, Inspector. The crime scene photograph has been entered into the court records. Okay, I think this one will need action. Your witnesses are spineless, greedy, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Nancy, but the defendant is not denying everything as you put it. Why are you doing this, Suttles? Do go on. Mr. Natsume had admitted to playing some part of the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naohiro? Well, now you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what happened. As I was walking along the cursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat. She was just as I went to overtake her. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the floor, onto the cold, hard slab of stones at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from them. So I ran as fast as my leg would carry me back to my accursed laundry. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print was wearing. Oh my, a photographic print full color. What will come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of the terrifying incident, and does not mean he's guilty of heinous crimes or stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else at that time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. In fact, and the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove a pivotal counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Cross-examination. Just 1 second, guys. I'll be right back for a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about it. Just need to check something. Okay, as I was saying, I don't think I can have any proof here, so I think I have to press everything else. I have a feeling we're going to get to that. The jury's bad side again. So let's start with
Hold it!
this one. A light folk, you say? Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street once, not much further though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I expected a Japanese fellow like yourself, you know, of course. Oh, come on, stop with the racism, okay? I read that London is famous for its fog, but in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful experience. Oh, you wish. Try the Victorian thing now, though. The Victorian outset is not the best place, trust me on this fog. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, and as I suspect, you can appreciate. I see. At this time of the year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day, I was nearly trampled by a horse before I could see a carriage they were pulling. So the salon I shouldn't definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day the consensus, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused.
Hold it!
How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simple, my learned friend. Because that's what the witness is to this crime had told us. Ah yes, Inspector Grayson mentioned the witness yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Oh, then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call to evidence that should it be necessary. Oh yeah. So I guess the one when it says on the report here earlier, yeah, the reporting officer must be Rolly Beat. You have to call us guy on. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the middle of winter, it would be dark already. No matter how light the fog must have been, no one could have seen it. I'm aware of the situation of your tiny island at ease. But here in the capital, the Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated with the night by the gas street lights. Ah! The prosecutor should believe there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind had completely conquered the darkness. As people say, booyah! Which it means we really need to hear those witness testimonies. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we may be able to... It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue your testimony, Inspector.
Hold it!
From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from the screen. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clear protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition, comatose no less. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's been retreating at the box. I was hopefully that she'd come around before the trial started, so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, it is indicating it will be most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. But it's on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. No, your force of tone is seriously undetermined by those insistent white eyes, I'm afraid. Just be glad he's not charged of murder, otherwise he'd be hanged to the... hanged. He's going to be spending too much in jail. How many years? You don't want to know. Mr. Natsume's belongings, where is it? I think you find it all in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes. 3 books on the floor, that's right. My lord, second-hand books, they were irreparably damaged after falling into the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means its other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hand full with his books. He managed to close to one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say the defender was holding his belongings as he thrust his knife into the victim's back? That will be what happened, my lord. Yes. Those being another parties.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literatures. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attempt. The bloke's room was stacked full sitting with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodging is in this place, Woven Books. The little path to the corner of both Briar Road and Milk Scarham Streets. As it happened, the accused is currently living in lodging on the other side of the Briar Road at the opposite end, which means it doesn't take genius to work out the road you wouldn't take home. Something like this. The local map information map in the copy. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from the particular shop. Listen now, though. I think that's what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point in the inspector just made be the bookstop, the book's name, and the bookshop. I'm thinking. The bookstop. The bookshop location. The crucial detail what you just told the court inspector is the location of the bookshop. I couldn't agree more. So, where is it exactly? Eh? Are you whimpering? My name is Miss Sunshine, I just explained it. I got use red blooming ink and drew the blocks from your mouth. And I distinctly remember you saying not to counsel. Oh, yes, of course. Must have been some reason I didn't take it in. The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend. No, not yet. The trial's on the beginning of the... It's not good. I would strongly advise you to look at the capital through the court records stage. Yes, miss. Once. Inspector, continue with your testimony, please. Oh, wait. Just a matter of... Wait, what's the name again? It says here second hand. Yori. Oh, that's right. The name. Sorry.
Hold it!
I've forgotten about that. Yori books. No, it's about. Woven books is this one say York books. Yeah, I think I know. The bookshop name. Inspector Grayson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be a vital information. Maybe? Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, I could be very particular. Very well, not all I can see being of any great significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord, whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? Yeah. Maybe it's this one. Please.
Objection!
Oh yes! Okay. I got that one. Wrong. If you could just stop there, Mr. Grayson. What is this, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know, even though I like fish and chips. This is a receipt we found in Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details purchase of the 3 second-hand books. And you found that in a kid's room, didn't you? Did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed out on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Yori Books. Yori Books? Yori? I presume? Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books as second-hand books of that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Inspector, do you know this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that... Well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the kids would know about it.
Objection!
But in fact, it is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the other day in question. And this receipt proves...
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased, he must be told it makes no difference in the
Objection!
But I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the stream map here in my room. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he will almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact he was actually at another bookshop of your books, he may as well turn out he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true? My, it really depends on whether the other bookshop is his, but I think that it might be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Weiser? Why, these... Absolutely, I absolutely could be right. Inspector Grayson, where's your books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turned out that your books is here, just on the next corner. Mix Scandal Street's going east. Okay, we got an updated. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh no, this guy is taking his sip. Not good. My second drink for today. My Nipponese fan is obviously in training to be a clown. The way he really get with us such witticism. To your future character in the circus, I heard the baddie circus is hiring. You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. I need to spell out, but here we go. If the accused was coming from your books instead of Bourbon Books, yeah, he still have to go by that one. There's no doubt he will pass the place where the victim was stabbed. Oh no. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Damn it. Allow me to reiterate for my learns. It's somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Oh shit! Oh my! Damn it! I should have drank it before I break the glass. Wherever the man purchased these musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final list. Ow! Ouch! I suspect you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What do I say? I got enough of this. Miss, what? Beg your pardon. Tell me sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Miss Aldo, you mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the member of the jury may as well said that Mr. Natsume is guilty. She's absolutely right. You must think. You must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. It claims Soseki must have passed through the location incident on its way home. But I said, raise an objection. If I leave it, I'm going to get himself killed. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, Counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean in this map. He could take the other way around. When returning from Yoi's works on his lodging, Mr. Nasei could have followed the route suggested by prosecution. However, that is the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. You arrived back at the lodging without passing through the location when the living
Objection!
attacked. What? Talking like that to a clown is fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that road is what commonly referred to as the long way around. On a cold winter night, why wouldn't any man choose to take the longer route home? Well, shit. The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious way back to his lodgings and is obviously perpetrating all this crime. But, I got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court. The excuse, his response was frustrating. He claimed that he has no recollection. Now, damn it, Natsume. That's right. As I said, the bloke seemed to be spending his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He said he doesn't know where he was or which route he took home. Natsume, I don't believe this! Natsume, you screwed this over! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more time for the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Right, what say you insightful jurors? But even if that's the case, the defense did... Oh great, this guy. Oh, that I agree with all Benedict. All out me and any way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean? Okay, we're gonna get another. Not true. We members of the jury are completely convinced now. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings on the court. Oh, there.
Guilty!
No.
Guilty.
No.
Guilty.
Shoot.
Guilty.
No.
Guilty.
Damn it.
Guilty!
Oh damn it, Lord, no. This is going to be a trend, isn't it? Damn it. Damn it, Natsume, you should have remembered it. It appears the jury leaning is unanimous. Damn it, Natsume, you screwed me over for not remembering. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolution. You serve Queen and the country admirably. It's now how to... Wait. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opening of the jury. I just have to tip the balance of those skills the other way. I have to turn this around somehow. Those are the eyes of Queen, not yet willing to give up and die. Yeah. So I presume you intend to win your rights against this trial rights of the defense written to the antiquity British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquity if you want, Bill, but the defense prerogative to carry out the summation examination is chosen. Very well, Consul. In according to the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his octopus refusal to throw it in his alley. I mean, he's the guy who nearly got me into jail. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't know it was forgery thanks to Mr. Gilda. But at least you helped me get out of the debt one. Very well then.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Summation, judicial finding. The juror's content. For Pete's sake, that little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? If you see the woman in green collapse before his eyes, why he can't really have been the victim? The man would have gone around the houses on his way back for the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman that was attacked from behind, was she ungrateful?
I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing. Yeah, but yes, nice job, yes, but don't report books. Not a visit.
With one minor exception, the reasoning for finding the defendant guilty are too clear. Whether the stabbing occurs, the only two people are the scene where the victims are accused, and the accused himself, and admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard the inspector that the defendant have then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample ground to convict this man already if it wasn't for the jurors, but oh well.
Oh dear, if even the judge is convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt, why did he have to run away like that? And why in blazes he forgot? I think he should have advised him not to take so much of the coffee and sugar too much. And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody suits? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naoto, this is no time for grumbling. If you want to force the trial to continue... Yes, I know. I have to turn the tides. I must make the jurors change their mind. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. Okay, we think we just try to press some of the guys.
You have the floor, counsel. Begin summation examination.
Yes, my lord. I just need to keep the trials going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Inosuke, you can do it. Okay, I think you need to talk to those juror number 1 and 4. First, just for kicks. For pity sake, that level out.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but... oh, sorry. Aren't you... sorry. Yes, that's right. I was the witness then, but that's myself 2 days ago. Rules fair play. Don't you remember? Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face, or the side of it anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was going swimmingly until you started forsaking around. Rules fair play was the matter of repute. Sorry? Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day, you nitwit. You had me and your young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know what under the bridge. Now that's all sort of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me non-stop. If I pretend back the clock and tell you that it's forged, and I tried so hard to... well, anyways, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. I'm free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. See the woman wrinkle. The man woman has gone around. This one's safe, but what the F is this girl doing here? You know, I had said not to bring her in the jail, but come on.
Hold it!
What is the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garrett, aren't you? The landlord who rented Mr. Natsume's room. Master's wife? Where did you get the idea? I'm the maid one's dead. She's keeping under the shade. Yeah, this is going to be awkward. Why did you mention this yesterday? That you've been selected for the jury in this trial? I mean, was told not to mention to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I feel I have no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who committed crimes such as this? Oh my goodness, yes, he is just a sort. What? Spending all this talking, I don't want to pinky room, something a scrupulous moustache. I never speak and don't get me started on the shit you ask all these neighbors are talking about here. I could hear them, you know, people think he must be doing a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, well Natsume, how could people say such thing about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, I think he might be taking too much sugar, as I said. Well, you just call him a worm, so... Anyways, I better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She said enough damning things already. Okay, this guy.
I really don't care about this.
Yeah, I want to know what... This is unrelated.
Hold it!
This guy is saying other things up. A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get it clever, me, young son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family.
Huh?
The likes of you would not understand, but a laborer like me can afford to take a time. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do my wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I got to go to the union every morning to find out what he needs to be doing. If you're late and the work takes time. The time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left and right center. They're often cheap labor to get road duct fixed. It's hard to slog it from dust to down.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that bookshop, it was.
What? Another coincidence?
That's right, near Scadam Street it was.
Near Scadam Street. On the map now, there are not 3 named streets. Student number 5, I need to add that information to your former statement, please.
What's the point? Can't we just get the business over with now?
Please, sir, it's important.
Fine, I'll do it then.
Oh, number 3 guy. On the day that happened, I was doing on this. Time to pit this guy.
Objection!
Those 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another.
At odds, Council. Explain yourself.
Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. I didn't do it.
What? I was just to get this done and dusted once.
Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir? What do you mean? Juror number 5 was just now extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implication of what instead on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited the bookstop to purchase the number of second-hand book. And on the same day, we now know that there were books being carried out on this Scadam Street, making it impassable. Which means the defendant's route home could not have been taken along Miracastle and down Briar. Oh yes, of course! Wait, what? What do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that really, can you? We must have a good 2 yards or more of the pavement yet. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn it back and go all the way.
So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose that must be right.
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back to the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Justice, if I may.
Yes.
I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Boom. Alright, that's one guy. What about you, sir?
Who? Me? Well, alright, Dad. If there's a hole in the prosecutor's argument, this should be filled in. That's what I say. Just this once. Yeah.
Oh, well done, Miss Lawler. That was wonderful. Well, we managed to change the corpus mind at least. It strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and probably other members of the jury to consider their senses well. Maybe asking themselves if their current living are really right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue and this discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Miss Natsume, we might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we got to do. There's nothing to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, whatever means we have at our disposal.
Where's my drink? Turn your console on with the submission exam, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay, I think the only guy I haven't done is the second guy, and the sixth guy, the old man. This guy.
Hold it!
Sorry, found it. You say for what?
No, what I said was hold it. What I want to ask was, do you visit so often?
Your books, Morgan? No, I never visit them, but I like your books and they have been years. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And the day, what time did you visit your books on the day in the question?
Well, I was picking up books at the afternoon, and it will be just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day over you're talking about.
Just because before I say exactly when the victim is time. Are you sure about the time?
Bye? Oh, wow, that's oh, no, well, yes. Oh, you mean yes? Yes, I'm no mistaken. I remember. Well, I'm not about to forget the day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Kamalashi Road when I slipped on the ice and dug my head. Oh, he's got a head. It was resident of the slope-stopping pond. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself, I did. I really thought my numbers was that.
Really? Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road?
No, it was on Calabash Road, not Calabash Road. Yes, that's right. I live in Copine, you see. Heading down Calabash Road, this is the quickest way for me to get back to your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add your information to your former statement. It may be be extremely significant.
Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright, sir. I know I just hit my head or something, but not. Well, it's just a minor injury. I just pass out, that's all.
You change to Yes, just 2 more to go. Leaving the final goal now. It's time to turn the table. Wish I knew how to do this as a tick. I suppose words will have sufficient now. I can't tell. Okay, time to pick. Wait, yeah, the lady says, if you say the woman was in green. Yeah, it could only be the victim, but I said the number 6. Yeah, this guy is green color, so. Number 2?
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the jury's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about, Consul? Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6. Why? Whatever do you mean, sir?
I do want to get some steak and cheeseburger. I love that fish and chips.
I think perhaps the woman didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's like I was lying. Jeez. There was at least one fact which Here, the bookshop visit found in the defendant's room play incident on the date on the attack had been it had been to York Books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man said he had no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appearing in the front of him on the way. Someone in green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes! We are all aware on this. This poor young woman was stabbed.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, ma'am? What do you mean? I'm sure you heard Juror number 6 account of what happened that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over the icy streets in the neighborhood, and he's wearing the shirt now. No. Oh my! My goodness, you mean... That's right. I'm referring, of course, to the heart of the hearing juror number 6. Are you suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom defendant saw collapse in front of him was the jolly old gentleman in the end of the bench here with me today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man... He had a somewhat similar build to the victim.
Well, now look at that.
Look at me!
Sorry, you need a beat.
I love this old man. And for once, this is the best game ever. The best attorney game I have played so far. And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person in Mr. Natsume was called collapsing in front of me was just juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long road back in his logic. And if that's true, then clearly, the crime scene of the Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my!
You idiot, old man! If you hadn't been so daft to be roaming around on debris, have boxed this off all hours ago, you idiot!
Really? Why were you thinking of wearing such performing coat? You even wearing it now?
What do you say to me, you... Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the street these days, huh? It's a crime to slip over the ice. It's a crime to keep up to the latest time of wear a green overcoat. Is it? Screw you all!
Hold it. Put on some makeup. Oh Lord, I hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but
You like to change your lineage, I presume, yeah. No surprise, huh?
I don't think I would. I should like to call for very often not getting. Thank you.
And I would too.
What?
It's a crime to change your mind, is it? Well, yeah. Me first.
Hold on. I need to drink water again because the old man is. Definitely old man is right. This guy is good to voice. Good to voice.
Well, the examination concluded with a rather large shift of opinion. The eyes told the nose fault, so the nose have did not guilty, they say, which means they no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Let me have my drink first before I destroy this thing. Thank God. There we go. Could it seem childish to me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Landis?
It seems I must retrace my earlier remark.
Oh, what do you mean?
I mistaken credited the jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an instant entertainer.
What you doing here?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I say is the truth.
Indeed. Stalwart Joe number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claimed. I believe you said it was a good 2 years of the pavement which you had excavated. That's right, told me that all day to pave me on measuring tuppence for it.
Now, my Nipponese friend, tell me. Do you have any notice of the distance of the 2 year represents? Well, I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 years is a little less 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all.
In other words, a distance readily rolled by anyone of modern vigor.
Wouldn't you not agree, my stalwart friend?
Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no.
What?
And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your work? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No choices will have hope. No passing anyway, and we just turn and get the foot back where we came from. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that the equal spring over a 2 year trench is meandering around town.
Is that true? Is that...
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. They can without doubt they on his way back to his lodging, Mr. Natsume walked down the dry road.
Crush in single sentence.
And, old man. Colonel, you take a duck. You say on 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slip and fell in Calabash Road. Correct. Was there any suspicion of the Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, that's I remember.
You don't remember?
How about a wait? My friend, you say this old man was accused of by a wood. Lay 1,000 to 1. What against you being able to prove?
What? It was an assumption.
Oh, the long things here for yourself. My lord, if you had such trench argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not perfect it during the summation examination? I want to give this young monster the sightseeing experience he no doubt came up. I want to see him for himself how the opinion of jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limit, and they have been reached, I feel. Time to take off my coat. So my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over.
What? What are you talking about?
My lord, the prosecution requests the permission to call its next witnesses to the stand. Granted, better bring forth the witnesses.
Its next witness? Alright, then. It must be Rolly and... It must be Rolly. Wait, is it witnesses? That means it's 2? Mr. You remember, we've been told on several occasions there were eyewitnesses in the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Vency's bring stand this witness, and no matter what they say, I believe it's Soseki-san. I know he's innocent, and I'd like to keep believing it in the very end until the better. So. Oh, it's a police and a lady?
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Oh, ow. Roll it.
Constable Rolling Beat, sir. Not to the bottom of the street, sir.
And I'm Miss Beatrice, Patricia's my name, and I proud to say I'm the young town hero's wife, Patricia Beaton. What's the story here? Well, the adventure may not be very long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary on the other day. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems riot. Hardly surprising. While this being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before actually.
Indeed, upon the rounders of our gallant officers trot some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pub, collecting taxes, surveying the streets, and check the meter all we do through. And they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguish our street lights.
Yeah, no, right? That on the list, that doesn't sound much like police duty at all. I wouldn't just be falling still on the feet. I had collapsed long ago. Yeah, I don't see. For once, I have to agree with that. But anyways, but it goes without saying that the police's man's primary duty is to apprehend of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crime on his beat. For the London body is the man's honor of honors. And a man of slumber.
On the day of the question, this man and his wife were walking down Brydon in the opposite direction.
And they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Pete? That's right, sir. It's in the rolling.
Constable Rolliver, sir, nothing to report on the street, sir.
What a great witness he's going to be. This is going to suck, isn't it?
Very good. Even though it's not the question, but anyways, I'd like to hear your former testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir. Let me catch some fusies.
Anyways, moving on. What the witness saw? It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out the meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two sailors appeared out of the fog in the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. And then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over the cross and then for a nearby police box. It was definitely a Japanese man on the dog. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I'll say.
Oh dear, this policeman is claiming to have possibly identified Mr. Natsume as scene crime. If their testimony is true, the alternative cause of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed. It's that in fact, and you might have to do it again. Oh, god damn it! Because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate beat. Mentioning on your wedding anniversary too.
Oh, I know. But I still managed to go out for the evening with the man. I take the love for that. Gosh, the life of the London Bobby. It sounds very hard indeed. You still want to work with that sister? Indeed, however, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without a doubt the accused Mr. Soseki Natsume. At once, one of the witnesses is a policeman known as, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except that the man is so tired his wife has to do all the talking.
Enough preamble, I know. Counsel for the defense comments the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay, now... I want to witness. Is there anything I can say? Well, she's dead, and the knife is just a jackknife. I can't say anything, so... Somewhat true shootings. Okay, I'm thinking. I don't remember anything to press, so I think we just pass all of it and see how. Let's say press.
Hold it!
No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Miss Beat, Mrs. Beat? Oh, certainly not. It's a job for strapping young men, women, children, and the elderly can't even fly. Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Wally looks so handsome in this uniform. It suits you down the ground, doesn't it, darling? Wake up, darling.
I just finished my beat. But and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning to get changed there.
Is he talking about his sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Rolly. I much prefer you in the uniform. Sometimes I do recognize you when I see your plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy.
Currently, I head to the point you were going for me after you have finished your beat for the day, correct? That's right, sir. Yes, although I was fit to drop you. Honest. After spending the whole day for my feet, but policing in my life, sir, as I put proud on of this, I set my queen at the end.
What's that now?
My warrant card, sir, proof that I'm a London copper. It has noble founding principles of the force written on it. It is a reminder to us all, policemen of our sworn duty, to patrol the streets of London town, uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and that's for because I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without grumble. Because I know the bloody of my boots is all London need to hear and feel safe and secure.
So, fighting crime doesn't appear income to it then.
But just one of that particular day, I was looking forward to celebrate my wedding's anniversary. Mrs. B put up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. Oh, come here, darling. I want to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat.
Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such joy to behold. It's a little over the top, perhaps.
Please do it outside the court, not near. And don't go into this way. What happened next? Why am I letting it slide?
Me too, sir.
Hold it!
Two silhouettes. That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up the briar in the opposite direction. They were a rather plump figure followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. The down sank exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, as like Natsume. Yes, unfortunately it does.
And you're certain that without the sign there was nobody else nearby.
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are street lights on the briar, you see, and there was nobody else around. Isn't that right, my darling? Oh, wake up!
What? Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light of fog in the dead ground, but Briar was dead straight and you can see fairly a long way down the pavement. And there's a street light as well. This is the pictures.
Before sleep takes firm hold, leave your answer please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure what you just said?
Yes, sir. As a couple who spend all day every day keeping watch on the streets, I swear to it, sir. I'm as sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh, sorry. I got it wrong with me. He said, oh, Pat.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. This is correct. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. They're still maintaining that there's no one else around it other than the victim in that time. It suddenly seemed that they must know how really happened. It seemed that there's no way around. Well, that didn't stop this lesson, did it? It fled the scene all too convincingly.
Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident. What happened in the crucial moment that followed?
Second one ninja across it, but then the other scared.
Hold it!
Scared or something? What do you mean by that? Oh, well, I couldn't quite make up what was at that time. But then we got closer, we realized it was. Didn't we, darling? Wake up again.
Oh, what? Yes, that's right.
That's right.
It was some old books. I see.
Old books.
Yes, sir. The copper dropped in another book and all around where the victim had laid on the paper. Indeed, there's clear picture in this photographic print. That rotten Japanese
Man did when he
Hold it!
Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defender was indeed the attacker.
When we saw it, he was the man in the dog without the question, sir. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the gentleman, the snub nose, everything.
Any more insult you want to throw in? That's right, he looks down at the poor defenseless woman with those terrifying intense eyes. Will you stop trying to do? How much racism is this thing in this game? And then he suddenly threw these books on the pavement and ran away. I see. This is tough. It seemed as though they were telling the truth here. May I remind you, this unambiguous testimony comes from the police and his wife. Now please, continue.
Yes, sir.
Please ran straight on the fly.
Hold it!
Okay, where's the police box first? Or something? Was it your husband who fetched help? No, I went. He may not be police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? Wake up!
What? Yes, that's right. I asked Miss Smith to go. And I was off duty by that point. The Bobby's never duly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very well done, Mr. Pete. Resolving the scene of crime is the task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box.
Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean by exactly by the right police box?
Depending on the crime location, you see, as to who details with where the woman was stabbed wasn't exactly on my beat. So I told Patricia on the way to the police before the incident fell under so she could go report.
I ran there as quickly as I could as I asked for help for the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than the young couple in love working together, you know. Thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens. Oh please, you're making us blush, isn't it, darling? Wake up again.
Yes, sir. What Patricia says, sir.
Let's move on, shall we? I think he just fell asleep. It was definitely a Japanese man. No.
Hold it!
But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas splitters, couldn't you? Secret, lots of Londoners get exceptional eyesight. I have, you know.
Darling, just go up. Please don't believe me.
Right. The light on the street lamp was more than enough. And my husband really told you that the fog was only to the light, didn't he? Yes, and what the fog?
We're famous for its London acoustic globe, I believe. This absolutely matters to those of us who have lived with it, of course.
Oh, it is. When it's there, you can't even see the hand at the ends of your arm. Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband around? The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can't tell for sure that there was a little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling? Wake up.
What? Yes, it was the accused and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, and the cat-like eyes. The town is What's because so?
As far as the couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki they saw running away from the same crime. That's it then, is it? That's the end. But do you think? It's not. Well, I hate to admit, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem that the Mr. and Mrs. B saw what they saw. Mr. Norman is running away from the scene of the bride road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So if that's true, where does it leave us? A member of the jury are sure to call for a guilty vote after this testimony. Oh, shit. Then that's what you do. The customer's son will hear. What are you trying to say? I think he will try to find a contradiction somewhere else within that testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? The statement about Sima singing Uncle Bird calling them into question won't help. Maybe to emphasize some part of the testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to repeat that to make the jury doubt with the paramount. To make the jury doubt if the paramount of the day is accurate. Yeah, this is going to be hard. Right. First, listen to it. We must focus on finding out this meaning in the statement somewhere. If you don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early, favorable conclusion. Why do I always seem to be... Okay, this is...
Mr. Lysa, can I ask something?
Oh, what? Yeah, yes, what is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we told you, so... It seems to be don't believe... It's like you don't believe what I said. Is that right? Well, I'll believe it. Come on! My hubby will punch you! Yeah.
Oh, darling, what are you doing?
Don't mind me, nothing.
What? No. Oh, no, is there not that? Oh, shit.
My husband's a police, Raymond, and now what is it? I'm my own class teacher, everything, like. Oh, I know. What about the books in the man drawer? I could tell them every single one. I could every single one. And you get a question how relevant my testimony is?
Wow. Okay, so crossing all is a good thing, so I might do that if there's no contradiction.
No, it won't do at all. The Japanese are not anyone capable.
Oh, God, lady. Are you trying to screw me over?
No, I'm just, even though I did forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a moment that will work.
I really didn't mean that cross. Please put your husband's fist down. I mean, he's trying to sleep here, but come on. Hello?
Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supply your testimony, Mrs. B. My dad appease you.
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would seem settling nicely. What do you need, darling?
Oh, let me some sleep.
Can you tell the names of the 4 books? Wait, 4 books? Well...
Oh, you...
there's 3. 4 books? Oh dear. Are you really? Oh, thank you!
Objection!
Thank you! So, you're saying that there was 4 books? That was easy! I don't think I need to press in that thing because I say 4 books.
That's right, the picture of Monsieur somebody what is learning a meal for someone and Tingnomigami something.
What? Hold on a second. The picture of Monsieur... I want to check again before... Second... Monsieur look a meal for Gabriel Cantabrian. What is this yearning? A meal... Wait, a picture... Yeah, that thing... Yeah, it's got 3. I'm sorry, Mrs. Speed. But there is a fundamental flaw in the statement of yours.
Oh no, what? What flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4.
What?
Have a good look at this photograph printed on the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see, there are only 3 books.
But no, that can't be. I saw that. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool.
Sorry?
It is that big old lump of a dead body.
The lady saw that her corpse walking the view, so the 4th book. So, let's at least try to remember that poor woman isn't dead, even if we are insulting her size. Come on. We have racism and we are mocking her size. Come on. You're going to get a lot of people hate about that thing. Please stop it. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But Mr. Natsume could not possibly have dropped 4 books here to be described. Why not? Fascinating. And from your assertion told something there. Something you can really substitute with evidence, I presume. Ah, evidence.
Counsel, you will present evidence of something you claim or withdraw it. What proof do you have that the accused did not drop the 4 books?
Of course, there's this one here.
Take that!
This, the receipt. The evidence is right here, in the form of the bookshop's receipt.
From your bookshop?
Books. Yes, this receipt details Mr. Natsume's purchase that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed. No. Therefore, Mr. Natsume would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation, ma'am, cannot be relied on. So, it cannot be denied that though you said it was definitely you saw, you couldn't as well be mistaken. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Objection!
It claims eventually. Wait. Didn't it what? I just remember something. Earlier just now you said something. A picture of Monsieur somebody. What is it your name? A Tingumagami something. The picture of Monsieur. Wait. Hold on a second. Give me 1 minute, cause I think I remember something from. I think I remember one of the guys that. I remember there's one. Tingami somethings. No, I can't make it up because of the book. It's plain evident that it is your power of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my goodness friend. What? Let me have a drink first before I do anything. Report it. What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you will know very well that you have no hope of disproving. So you strive to avoid attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would it be fair? It seems right to me, but your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. Cheers to the police wife and her entirely accurate testament in every respect. Oh? You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene of riot, a total of 4 books were most definitely.
Objection!
But what about the photograph print? It only showed 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 books can be seen in that print. That print? Oh, you mean you to say? Yeah. Oh, allow me to present another one that shows the victim's hand. The lion's. Oh! Wait! I knew that book comes in because I thought it was Garrett's book. Wait. Is Garrett? Oh, you gotta be kidding. You are gotta be kidding. This book belongs to. I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from the view original print by the victim's saucer. No. No! Are we really going to bring Garrett up to stand soon?
Order, order!
Yeah, you see? Look at it. Look. Yes, I'm looking at it. I know. Yes, I know. I'm looking at it. I see it. Isn't it, darling?
Yes, sir, Patricia was right, sir.
Let us study the receipt of the book purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mr. Speed, the title once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. The picture of monster somebody else. The picture of Monsieur Lecor,
What is he yearning?
Canterbury yearnings,
And meal for someone.
a meal for Gabriel, in fact. As for the court, they just heard the witness remembers the book title flaws, save for the few minor details. I just have to correct it, that's all. Mrs. B powers of recollection only described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Rolly? Yay! The gentleman has come.
Yes, sir, flawless, sir. Boxes is full.
That's only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. B mentioned 4.
There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the photo research which is shown is this polygraph print.
I'm sorry, counsel, but that doesn't mean that seem odd. Why should the football be omitted from the receipt?
It's not all of my lord. As the polygraph clearly showed, the photo was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book?
I wonder, what became of the 4th book?
Obviously, that wasn't overlooked by the investigation officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence.
You will submit that and the affirmative polygraphic opinion companies. Please, counsel.
My pleasure.
The second book in his hand.
The 4th book.
Yeah, there's this Garrett's book.
The prosecution rests. Wait. I have nothing further to add. Wait. I just want to get...
Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burned. You're right. You'll never be able to read it in this state, especially not in the later pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorch that is paper, I think the damage has occurred very recently. A book recently damaged by fire. Why does it see razor with me?
Yeah, this thing is actually Garrett's book.
I remember that Garrett said,
I think I just lost my book. I saw lion sprite. Well, I didn't.
Yeah, this book belongs to Garrett Epps. I'm sure of it.
what?
You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been vain, entertaining, yes, but futile. The supposedly longer route to the accused lodging that you tried established. Sorry, I had skipped a line. The superior is a longer route to the accused lodging that you tried establishing in a summation exam. And the attempt is created that thing of witnesses' power of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? I walked right into that, didn't I? Just see, everything we said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, but maybe, but
But we already married.
So, like perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, the jury would like to reconsider their position should the court waste any more time with this Nipponese travesty. Or is this decision you have to make all too apparently? Oh boy. You have heard all the witnesses and seen all the evidence. This trial has run its course.
Mr. Lauder, I'm afraid we are in a terrible precautionary position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could just make matters worse. Think, Mouse. Think. What do you do now?
Raise an objection.
Let us talk about it.
I'm not done yet. No, my friend, it's over. That last consideration was your final chance to establish a credit defense, and you failed. Game over, and the die has been cast. There's no more room for debate.
Well, it might be over for as far as you're concerned, but
can't think of what to say.
If I may, Miss Lord Lindsay, it seems somewhat foolish to close down the debate at this point.
Your insignificant listener Eastern Isle must be an lawless hole indeed, for lowly judicial assistant to have audacity to intervene at a moment like this.
Oh.
I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant advice essential and her opinion is invaluable.
Mr. Lauder,
one of these lands guiding principles is tolerance, so the count will hear you man.
Go ahead, Mr. Soto, please. I'll pray what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter till you see fit to pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination is finished.
I see. And you believe what the new evidence warrants for the examination, do you?
Miss Naldo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be indecisible we'll be waiting for. Judges is sure to ask the members to the jury to announce their learning in this moment. And of course, he should ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence you want. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, understand. And thank you, Mr. Soto. This is it. Soto has managed to win his one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste.
The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that may offer the profound insight into this case has hitherto been overlooked.
The fourth book, because this
Take
is
that!
the evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photograph print of the case. The fourth book found in the
Objection!
Yeah, we know this joint paragraphs. We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being the victim's grasp in time of the incident, no signature had been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afford you this opportunity, you will lead the court to believe that the evidence in question contains a hideous undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will have to do this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes. Yes, my lord. It's now. I believe this prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely when this final clue to this case which the fourth book conceals?
I say this one. Damage by 5 here, so much that. That's right, such as a pity. And you see the flick edges on the burnt page? Yeah, it's the burnt page on the road. I think that's the sure sign of damage. So, yes, a book damaged in recent fire. That definitely is.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in the question.
The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to crisps!
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what's clear and unreadable book? It's undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my neighbor's friend? Oh, were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So should we the assertion that the fine damage is somewhat fair clue to us what happened that day. Pray, do enlighten us. What truth does this chart book hide? A chart book? There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance simply, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain to my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer, counsel. Explain this theory to yours. What are you suggesting that you can observe from this fire damage the soil tube has suffered?
Its owner. My lord, the bone on its back will reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
We already know the books belong to. The victim has grip in her hand as she fell into the floor at the thought is obviously there. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the question of who the book really belongs to, as where it originated, defense has very credibility answers.
Good gracious, how can you be possible?
Very well. I play along with this futile attempt of feeling we are inadvertently denied. But do remember, the members of the jury may as well burn you if your little gamble goes away. Counsel, the defense response here is likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell me, Scott, who do you claim this book belongs to? Yeah, this old guy.
Take that!
John Garrett. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who owns the house where the defendant has his lodging. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garrett.
Oh, the landlords?
And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fatal work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for the jury in this court today is none other than Mrs. Garrett herself. Oh my goodness, oh me! I think it must be because I'm not Mrs. Garrett, I'm his maid. These things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretenders. Okay, anyways, that's alright then. How about a simple question? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrett's house? Oh, I would never presume to all the books in
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is an excuses landlady, you see? You implicated that the hardworking member of the police. You dismissed her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unfortunate.
Objection!
No, you're not. This is not a mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mr. Garrett's home.
Good lord, what sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord.
Fatal it was. Fair to say it was. Happened in blink an eye, you know. The whole place was filled with smoke. Couldn't see the body thing. Didn't take long to the fire despite, of course, the body footage that started going up as well. Most of it, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Ah, there you go.
The Lion's Pride.
By Jove, the very same title as the subject of this debate.
Objection!
No. This is recycled. All of you told the court that that book by the same name was involved in the fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. And it entirely unreasonable to infer that they magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I were told you that the cause of fire was martial discord. Without going into detail, it appears that Mrs. Garrett was considered enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrett even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can even imagine. Being so horrid, the ones you love. Can you remember? Absolutely not, sir. I'm pretty sure I will never go raise a finger against Miss Sir, even though she keep pulling me to wake me up, but there's nothing wrong.
Had all my
And well, my favorite old novels in the case. But let's see the fire goes. I got hold of them, that was it. Whoops, up and spell. Damn it. Pop gods. Then the wife started hurling against me. Oh shit, she's doing it again. There was I, back against the window, under the heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to dozens. The man in his back was up against the window and he had burning books drawn to him. Good gracious, are you suggesting that the books were thrown into the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there's no report of the Garret's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrett household. But is it not coincidental that the window was open at the time? Not everyone remotely. Let us forget the season and the chilling weather in that constant. Well, we got a fire there. How? What do you think will go? I just close the window. No Londoner will ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. If there's a fire, then
You are supposed to be the senior of our serious council. Will you earnest claim that the program found scene was flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrett's wife?
I believe it is a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. That's quite not quite enough. Well, I hope that everyone can see for what you are. You little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? Oh, give me that one little type to see your neighborhood, alright? Knowing that I'm really posting a miracle occurrence, how could you? It's not with this business case, not any of it. You done such a funny name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Even you just slap your husband and pour a lot of tea on your hubby's leg all the time, you're going to obstinate citizen to the mud to divert the attention of your failing defense. Hey, stop hitting. Hey, why are you hitting me like that? I should box your ear. That's what you should. That's what I should do. It's on to the forget. Do it right. Oh no, shit. We're gonna get it up to it, aren't we? Here we go. How long did we sat here now listening to this nipponist spout on his fancy foreign cherries? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too. No, I declare you're right. It's true. Yes, don't did I tell you?
Makes sense to me. Sally, what's that?
Well,
It would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zix?
well, I mean, upon my theory, I am true, my lord. I feel it's been unnecessary protraction proceeding, but then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book, it still hasn't been.
Look at my leg!
It books of predilection, my learned friend. Study them on your own time. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time. Hello?
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decision regarding the defense culpability for court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Wait, that's the tough guy I got. The tough guy's voice is not like Tolo. Oh, great. Here we go. Another not guilty book. No, another guilty book. Oh, god damn it. Man.
Thank you for your that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Honda, don't give up. Hmm? Mr. Soseki, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course, the defense had the right to another examination exam at this point. You could still convince the jury to change their mind. You have one more chance. Very well, my lord. The defense is asked to exercise its right to summation examination again. You believe you still have the tricks of your slave. I don't intend to trick anyone. I intend to uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. To be off. Wow, to be continued. All right. Well, this is very long. Okay, I'm thinking right now. Let me give yourself some break time for a while, and I'll see. Give me time to. X for once. Just give me a sec. I'm going to think how much time I could spend for that thing. Okay, I decided. Okay, I plan to finish this trial tomorrow. Because this one is very long. But anyways, this is Andrew signing off. See See you at the final. See you at the final trial. No, the final. Sorry. See you at the conclusion of the trial of this case. Caught in recess. See you next time.